5:11 p.m. Wednesday, June 12th, 2019, episode number 727 of Yeah Dude. My name is Jonathan, and this is Seth. Hello, Seth.
Hello, Jonathan.
How are you?
Wonderful.
Comfortable?
Comfortable. I'm seated in this chair, and I'm comfortable. Because it's episode 727 of Yeah Dude, America's podcast, America Through the Eyes of Two American Americans. Gonna go a little off the beaten path like we do every once in a while. We keep things fresh. Save all your negative comments. Just give them to me because thought this would be a good idea.
Me personally?
No.
My other
Save
people's.
Jonathan, yeah.
Oh, spare me the.
Yeah.
It's not my fault.
Jonathan, yeah.
I didn't want to do this. No. Seth and I decided to both put on our white jeans, sit down, and have a
real adult conversation.
An adult.
Put the jokes away.
Let's stick the jokes away for a second.
Gosh darn it. We're going to do some stories that we have here that take a second to read. So we didn't end up doing them on any of our regular episodes just because it takes too long to read.
Yeah, they didn't really fit in our rapid fire style, that we normally.
Machine gun style comedy. Rat-tat-tat.
Ratata.
The Tommy Gun comedy.
The Tommy Gun Comedy Hour with Jonathan and Seth. Ratata.
Let me take you back.
This is more of a text-driven episode.
I think that's okay.
I think
it's gonna.
I'm looking forward to it.
You sit back and I'll read to you.
All right.
I'm gonna go back to June of 2018. Wow, it's a long time ago, huh?
Feels like a long time ago.
Here's a psychological challenge for anyone over 30 who thinks kids these days can't delay their personal gratification. Before you judge, wait a minute. It turns out that a generation of Americans now working their way through middle school, high school, and college are quite able to resist the prospect of an immediate reward in order to get a bigger one later. Not only that, they can wait a minute longer than their parents' generation and 2 minutes longer than their grandparents' generation could. It may not sound like much, but being able to hold out for an extra minute or two at a young age may serve them well in the long run. Research suggests that superior results on a delayed gratification task during the toddler years is associated with better performance in school and in jobs, healthier interpersonal relationships, and even fewer chronic diseases. These findings emerge from a new effort to understand how children's ability to hold out for the promise of more has changed over time. The study, published in the journal Developmental Psychology, resurrected an experiment that's become a developmental psychology classic, the so-called marshmallow test. Pioneered in the 1960s by a young Stanford University psychology professor named Walter Mischel, the marshmallow test left a child between the ages of 3 and 5 alone in a room with two identical plates, each containing different quantities of marshmallows, pretzels, cookies, or another delicious treat. Don't know. Vegan cupcake? I don't know. It's the 60s. What did they know? Gluten-free cupcake? I don't know if they knew in the 60s. Before leaving the room, quote, to do some work, the adult researcher instructed the child that the single treat on one plate could be eaten at any time. Okay. But if the child could wait for him to return before eating it, the researcher added that she could have the second, bigger treat instead. Does that make sense? So there's a plate with a tiny little treat, and then there's a plate with a bigger treat? I thought the plates had a bunch of treats. After the experimenter closed the door on the subject, researchers on the other side of a two-way mirror, oh, they love that, monitored the child's bout with temptation and recorded how long he or she could hold out before licking or eating the treat. Kids would do right. They'll lick it because they'll just like, lick it. Maybe see. But you know those kids, like, you can imagine them, like...
Writhing around.
Writhing in the 60s. Corduroy bell-bottoms. Ooh! Replicated many times and followed up by a wide range of researchers, the marshmallow test has earned recognition as a powerful predictor of future performance, at least among the white children of well-educated parents. Compared with kids who lunged for the early reward, those who held out for a bigger prize did better in school, got higher SAT
all rich
scores.
now.
Loaded.
All loaded.
Loaded. Elon Musk just stared at all of them. Tried to move the plate with his mind. Had higher SAT scores, had higher self-esteem, and better emotional coping skills, and were less likely to abuse drugs than those fucking kids. Like, the second the door closed, like... I
mean, if you're leaving me both plates, I'll just eat whatever the fuck I want.
And then I'll shoot up anything you give me, and I'll snort anything you got. What's up now? Okay. Other studies found that children unable to defer gratification were more likely to become overweight or obese 30 years later and were worse in general health in adulthood. The results focused psychologists, early childhood educators, and parents on the key role that self-regulation and executive function can play in a child's prospects and on the need to nurture those skills well before kindergarten. The new study conducted by Mischel, now at Columbia University, and colleagues around the country suggests that focus has paid off. Among the 165 children who participated in the first round of experiments at Stanford from 1965 to 1969, the task tended to be either very hard or pretty easy. Close to 30% gobbled up the single treat within 30 seconds of the researcher's departure from the room, while just over 30% were able to wait the 10 minutes that was the outer limit of the researcher's absence. Most of the children who did not hold out for 10 minutes ate the treat within 6 minutes. So it breaks down. Monsters gobble. Can't wait. Rawr! Flip the table over, like diving onto the floor to get it. A third of the group can just they just fucking zone out. They just go away to a different place. Like laying on a marshmallow bed, like thinking of all what they're going to get. And then the third just is like, I can
fail, but hold out and then...
A reasonable amount of time, but this is ridiculous. Because 5 minutes at that or 6 minutes would feel like, I've been gone for 35 minutes.
Well, is it safe to say, though, that the ones that have no problem holding out maybe they don't like enjoy things as much as they don't
have a sweet tooth.
Or just
or
a
things in
pleasure
they have no pleasure
receptors.
Principle at all for anything. Sex, drugs, rock and roll.
Their life's dull.
I'm fine. You want any music on you? No, man,
I'm good.
I'm going to sit with my own thoughts. I'm a child with no pleasure principle. Like Janet Jackson.
She hasn't done that yet, but
yeah, you'll know. You'll see.
Trust.
Here we go. These original subjects are now 52 to 58 years old. This is your kind of study. You got to follow them.
I love this. It's like
7
Up.
What have you been up to? I don't know. A lot of weed.
Smoking a lot of weed these days.
A lot of weed. A lot of French fries and shit. Just chilling.
You?
What have you been up to? I actually haven't had a dessert or a drink in 35 years.
I'm a billionaire.
I don't do much. I stare at walls. When the marshmallow experiment was replicated in a group of 100...
Also a very good band playing at Lightning in a Bottle this year.
I think... Were they at LIB? The marshmallow experiment?
I think so.
God, man. When the marshmallow experiment was replicated in a group of 185 New York City preschoolers from 85 to 89, changes seemed to be afoot. About 10% of the kids held out for just 30 seconds or less before snarfing the treat. And about 38% held out for 10 minutes. In between, the trend was for longer holdouts. These subjects are now 32 to 38. So they did were the treats, I had a lot of good treats in the 80s. Were they as good as the 60s? Those were hearty dessert treats in the 60s, though. Maybe in the 80s, they put out some bullshit. Hey, you want some Rolos?
Or maybe if they put out the same stuff in order to have some type of a...
You have to have the
control
same.
fucking...
Couldn't be like a control group of like whatchamacallits and Rolos. Like, we didn't have that tech.
Which, yeah, there could be also just a waning of interest in pretzels and marshmallows.
You know, also it could,
marshmallows are gross.
first of all, marshmallows are grody,
Unless they're on fire.
and maybe kids like, oh, I had a bag of marshmallows on the way to this fucking
That
study.
and also, like, I'm hip to the bribe. Like, bribes, I understand. Like,
I'm being
my
locked in
parents
a room with
bribe
my
me
parents.
every fucking
Yeah.
day. Like,
I'm always,
if
yeah.
I can do this, I get more in the
Totally.
end. Like, I understand how this racket
So-
works.
So I'm like in a room and like, oh, you don't think I know that's a two-way mirror? It's the 80s, yo. Because in the 60s, they were just like, the researcher left. In the 80s, the kids are like, why are they like peeking at me? This is creepy, yo. All right. By the time the University of Minnesota psychologist Stephanie Carlson and colleagues at the University of Washington in Seattle ran the exact same experiment with 540 kids from 2002 to 2012.
Same treats from the first.
Yeah, these are gross, man.
These hurt.
What is that?
These hurt my teeth.
Fudge. That's what you like, fudge? Don't know what that is. The changes appear to be real. Close to 60% of the children tested held out the full 10 minutes for a bigger reward, and only about 12% claimed their reward in the first half minute. These kids, like the two earlier cohorts, overwhelmingly white from families with relatively high incomes and educational attainment, are now 11 to 21. On average, they waited 2 minutes longer during a 10-minute period than those from the 60s before seizing their reward, and they waited 1 minute longer than those tested in the 80s. Surprised? You're not alone. In a survey conducted before performing the new analysis, the study authors found that adults in the United States generally intuit that children today are less tolerant,
More impulsive.
the delayed gratification, and less self-controlled than children were, say, 50 years ago. That's what, right? That's what you just...
Everybody thinks that always, right? Every generation thinks the next one is can't do anything.
Can't wait, huh? In my day, we had fudge. No, that was... In my day, we had Rolos. Dad, roughly 3/4 of a representative sample of U.S. adults did not believe that children these days would show much self-restraint for a better reward. And parents, Latino parents especially, were overwhelmingly convinced their own kids would not delay gratification as long as they would have when they were 4 years old. No, that's a whole other. Carlson wasn't so sure. On the one hand, she wondered how kids' self-control would hold up under the influence of daily television and amid a dramatic rise in attention deficit and hyperactivity disorder diagnoses. On the other hand, she knew that research has chronicled a steady rise in kids' IQ scores, the so-called Flynn effect, which correlates with executive function. And she knew that a growing portion of kids' screen time, including video games and some social media, can help them learn to manipulate language and other abstractions to accumulate social approval and other rewards.
Yeah.
Higher preschool enrollment and changes in parenting styles, including the rise of the empowered child, also might contribute to generational improvements in kids' ability to delay gratification. What does that mean?
Which one? Which part?
The rise of the empowered child.
I mean, we could look it up, but I mean, I think we could probably guess what.
Is that like, fuck you, Dad?
That's right, son. Fuck me.
Son, you're correct. My dessert does suck. Now you shall make it. Dad, you don't know shit about cooking, first of all. Dad, your fucking flourless cake, it sucks like Mom's. Let me make it. I don't know.
Well, I think the empowered child is maybe we could probably venture to guess is treating children like people,
Full
not
adults.
like or just
no,
that.
full adults.
Yes.
It's like,
Everything. Smoking weed.
oh,
fucking-
I'm sorry. My flourless cake does suck, Evan.
hit this blunt.
Hit this blunt with Papa. I shall leave. You having friends over to the crib?
If you don't hit this blunt for 10 minutes,
Daddy will go and wait in the garage. Have the crew over. Carlson, after all, only 15.7% of all 3 and 4-year-olds in the United States attended preschool in 1968. By the year 2000, more than half of kids that age attended schools that stressed social skills and self-control as cornerstones of educational readiness. Plus, Carlson looked at her own daughters, now 19 and 22, and thought to herself, the kids just might be okay. The findings do not make me hopeful. The findings do make me hopeful. Not only have qualities such as perseverance and self-control not disappeared, a simple and unchanged measure of those qualities, the marshmallow test, has withstood many trials, including the test of time. Delay of gratification is still a good bellwether of these self-regulation and executive function skills, and we're learning more every day about how important they are for school readiness and achievement. The next challenge, she added, will be to take the marshmallow test into more diverse communities and understand better if it has the same predictive power if kids who are not white, affluent, and from well-educated families.
That's one part of it. That's definitely something to look into. You may want to really, you cannot underestimate that from the 1960s to the 2000 and nows, the decrease in the allure of a marshmallow has to have,
wait a minute, yeah,
like
a tree.
It's a huge decline. Like in the 60s, you might not see another marshmallow until a year or two.
Yeah,
like
dessert.
You know what I'm saying?
Eat your vegetables.
So it's like I'm
Good
not
call.
giving up that much. Whereas
Yeah.
like in that situation, you're like something could happen between
Life
now
is
and
dessert
when
now.
this dude comes back or the
Yeah.
researcher comes back. I might not get that opportunity. I could die. He might die. I have
could
to
be
do this
dead.
now. They're going to come and take these streets away. Now it's like, I don't give a fuck if I don't get this marshmallow. I'm going to go outside and
Peace
have
out.
like a caramel ice blended in
Or-
like
or
37 seconds.
Stole a 20 out of my dad's wallet.
So that is not...
So they're fucking wrong here. What you have to understand is life is dessert for these kids.
But-
It's straight sweets.
I would say also that the thing about video games and social media being this sort of this ability playing a way of getting accruing something in order to get a bigger payoff later is definitely embedded into a lot of those models. That
True in video games.
I would think so, and that probably does have a
Like if you get 30 head kill shots, you get rewarded with more in like the game later.
yeah, you get a bigger gun.
You get
Cooler
a bigger gun. The more faces you blow off 8-year-olds, the bigger your gun will be. Enjoy. You guys want sweets?
You want a marshmallow?
Whole kitchen filled with sweets.
Yeah. So, if you are doing the exact same experiment,
That's what it is.
you really have to.
They think they put a plate of desserts on. They think the kids are going to be like,
I mean, obviously,
cool, like-
yeah. I just don't think that
what is
it's
that? Is
not
that
gonna.
that tiramisu?
Like I think about the way that pretzels and marshmallows made me feel. If I saw a plate of those as a kid, that looked like some type of special party thing to me. I would assume a kid my age now would probably feel about the same about them as I would right now, which is like, ugh.
Is it rolled gold? What's that? A styrofoam plate of pretzels? Where am I? Why am I in this room all alone?
This white room
This is weird. What's that humongous mirror window?
that all those people are
I
standing
can
behind.
I can kind of make it out. My indigo eyes can kind of see like 7
every
dudes
time
in
they
suits,
check
like,
their phone. I can
Yeah.
see the phone through the mirror.
Why are they taking pictures of me? Where are my parents? Pretzels?
I think it's
Like bad cookies? You want some sugar cookies? No. I was on like Iron Chef, like Children Edition. I won it. Like, I'm not going to eat this bullshit.
I don't think you can.
Is that Tahitian vanilla? Are there Tahitian vanilla in these cookies? Is Madagascar? I can wait. Wow. Look at the restraint.
It's not restraint.
It's not restraint.
It's disinterest.
Yeah, kids don't give a fuck about your shitty fucking pretzels.
I think the
I
idea
guess
that
that's what it is. Like, look, it's a German pretzel with spicy brown mustard. 1960s kids were like, wee.
I think
Now
that
kids are like, what?
cannot rule out
So,
how
You
much
guys, your study,
less appealing.
Your marshmallow test, I guess a marshmallow. Like before we went to the moon was like a huge deal.
Yeah, it was like
marshmallow, space food. Now kids like don't know what is that? It's all.
What's it got gelatin in that? I'm
spongy.
not fucking eating
That's
that.
fucking gross.
Ground up cow hooves.
Oh, there's gelatin in that. Okay, so that's what we're doing here. The study. Great. Have more plastic bottles around straws too. You got it. So
it's tough.
guys are a little bit. They think they got the breakthrough. But I guess anecdotally, we know, like,
And also, I think that probably it's like it's exactly the bare minimum amount of time necessary in today's world. Like, you also didn't have to wait in line for 20 minutes to get a cup of coffee. So it's in comparison to what? Like, well, that's the world that you live in. You wait for fucking everything now.
Yeah.
You know?
And a cup of Joe is much different from like what you're getting.
Yeah. And it's like you're paying $8 for it and it takes 15 minutes to make. Like, you're not just like, it's
36 ounces.
So it's, you know, how do you
Yeah. If they put out a 6-ounce styrofoam cup of black coffee, enjoy. How? Oh my God. You're using the same old shit, huh? You know what coffee is now, right? It's 32 ounces. It costs $12 and it's got 7 colors. Okay. This is from July of 2018. An extra shot of testosterone, it seems, makes a man act like an animal. Whoa. You know the type. One of those male birds who unfurls some of his most spectacular feathers when the ladies are around, or the buck who uses his crown of antlers to advertise his virility. In short, an animal prone to making showy displays of his power, beauty, or wealth to win mates, gain allies, and intimidate competitors. But for humans, American males, at least new research suggests that this testosterone-driven display of prowess actually finds its expression in a preference for status goods. Whether it's in his choice of top-shelf alcohol at the club.
You know me, man.
Always at the club for that top shelf. Making a big show of it. The watch on his wrist, or the threads that clothe his back. A man under the influence of the male sex hormone is going to reach for the product that says to potential mates and to competitors for those mates, quote, "You can't touch this." Always doing that.
No.
Why do you always, when you come in,
when you walk in, you're humming that?
How I feel when I'm on that top shelf.
What's up there?
What's on the top, itty tippity top?
Give me that one.
Was that Ciroc? Yeah. I don't know. But I guess those are people, right?
Oh, yeah.
Those are people.
Yes.
Okay.
I mean, we all have some of it, probably.
Whatever, yeah. I guess we all have different top shelf.
Yeah, whatever that means. But
researchers from the Wharton School of the University of Pennsylvania administered a supplemental dose of testosterone to a large group of men, then asked them to look at pictures and descriptions of 5 pairs of items. Amazing. Including watches.
Does it work that quick?
Oh, right in. For every show, you don't see what I'm doing when I have that. When I have it out, I'm like, tie myself off.
Hold on.
That's how I hit that stage like, fuck. Including watches, jeans, and jackets. I gotta have the best jeans and jackets. And choose which one they preferred. The pairings were carefully composed to present the men with a choice between products that varied on 3 dimensions: status, power in quality,
embroidery,
flourish, thickness, status, power, and quality. Those are the 3 dimensions of these products:
status, power, and
God,
quality.
those jeans are fucking powerful, thick cut. My God, I can tell the quality because how thick they are. How heavy are those?
They weigh a ton.
They're so heavy.
I can barely sit up. Can't stand up.
I can't stand up. If the item was a watch, for instance, he'd be asked whether he preferred one touted as highly resilient and sporty. That would be considered powerful. Or one billed as luxurious and prestigious. That would be billed as high status. In judging a pair of jeans, he might be asked to choose between a pair that's well-made and long-wearing, quality, and a pair described as a benchmark for fashionable style, status. So I guess Dickies and True Religion?
I mean, it's like, hey, it's just so hard to do this.
I'd love to know, like, what do they use, though?
I know,
like,
because that's the thing. It's
what the scientists were like, we got it. That's a boot cut, and that's a quality gene. And this old thing has got a lot of jewels. It's like a Kobe teeth, like the Kobe teeth line from Wrangler. Just like huge flared boot cut. Just
crazy tribal
cutout right on one butt. Oh, those Kobe teeths? Cool.
Give me another shot of that
Give me another shot of those Kobe teeths. The study's 243 psychotic male subjects. I mean, who? I'm in.
It's psychotic before they went in, much less
what do I got?
Post shot of
$40, I'll do it. Give me genes. Ranged in age from 18 to 55. In these years, testosterone levels vary widely from man to man, but they tend to wax and wane in predictable patterns that are not yet perturbed by advancing age. When some of the men were issued a testosterone gel and asked to rub it all over their upper body, their testosterone levels rose. Men who were given a placebo gel experienced no notable change in their testosterone levels. Crazy testing. Slathering it on the body. For those who got the testosterone, does that work right away? Do you just, you just like, ah!
I know. I need this.
Just get out. Ooh, I want that top shelf shit. Calm down. For those who got the testosterone, status consistently won out over power and quality. But when these men were faced with a choice between powerful and high-quality goods, they showed no clear preferences. Meanwhile, men who got the placebo tended to choose the powerful and high-quality versions of the goods they saw over the high-status versions. So really, I mean, if you just get the placebo, you're just like, whatever. I want just,
I'll go the
reliable
thing.
Just basic bitch shit, because I just want what's, right. Meanwhile, this guy who's like ripping his fucking shirt off, I want that. I want to be that guy.
I want the gold one. Give me the gold one.
What is that? What is that, platinum? The authors are quick to caution that status signals are not universal, and that the experiment might have turned out differently if the men were not American. Indeed, some cultures actually frown upon overt expression of material status, they noted. Gross.
Losers.
But not losers, not here in America. Where the more testosterone you rub on your upper body, the wilder you get. Like a man. I want the best shit. Calm down. What size is that thermos? I want the biggest thermos. You got to be kids, like you don't go to the supermarket when you're hungry. You shouldn't. If you got to chill for a minute. You rub testosterone, you go out in the world.
Shopping.
Just like, does it work that fast?
I don't know.
Fuck. Overall, not in America. Overall, compared with men in the placebo group, the men who got testosterone expressed more positive attitudes towards goods described as status enhancing. The results were published in the journal Nature Communications. The study's authors suggested some potentially target-rich circumstances for goosing the sale of luxury items. Men experience situational elevation in testosterone during and following sporting events in the presence of attractive mates and following meaningful life events such as graduation and divorce. Okay.
I lost you because I'm...
Men experience situational elevation in their testosterone, just within the situation. Those situations, the presence of attractive mates, I guess your testosterone rises. You see a fit bird, you're like, you don't need to rub nothing on you. It just, that's natural.
Good-looking buddies, you mean?
Yeah, your friends. When you come over to
attractive
cast,
mates.
to pod, and you see a fit mate.
Look at my attractive mate.
Got the same white pants as me. Never noticed that.
God.
Why am I noticing it? Because you have you're covered in like a testosterone gel. Why are you laying down on my couch? I don't know. I'm comfortable. Why don't you lay down?
I feel powerful.
Don't you want to be powerful and comfortable? You also, following sporting events, definitely get fired up.
Yeah.
That fucking Who Dat Nation, you get fired up. And following meaningful life events such as a graduation and a divorce. I guess you watch your kid graduate high school, you're just like, I'm going to fight you. I'm going to fight another dad.
It says testosterone can take 3 to 6 weeks to start to affect.
Here, this is the power. This is the medical shit.
18 to 30 weeks for the patient to find a significant improvement. But that doesn't say anything about gel.
No, the gel's where it's at, dog. Our results suggest that
injections 7 to 22 days. Well, that's so the gel might just get right in there.
It's like once it gets dermal, like subdermal, it's over.
A little ketamine and some fucking
tests.
Microdose,
just a little mushrooms in there too. I feel fucking great. I'm seeing colors and like I'm fighting and like buying expensive things. Researchers, our results, they suggest that in such context, male consumers might be more likely to engage in positional consumption and might find status-related brands and communications more appealing. Marketing professionals who pose attractive women on the hoods of expensive cars, who zero in on the watches worn by victorious yacht racers, or who attach the name of a real estate magnate to steaks, wine, and ties, have probably already intuited this. But now they have scientific evidence to back up their surmises. At the same time, evolutionary anthropologists say the new findings offer more fundamental insights into the motivations that drive men in complex human societies. So if you want me to buy, if I want to buy that watch, I better see an advertisement of a guy like hanging off of like a boat, like winning a boat race. Like, wow, you want a boat race
with that watch?
With that watch on. Cool.
When was the last time you saw an attractive woman on a car ad, like laid over a car? That doesn't happen anymore.
I don't do that anymore.
No. It's been like not cool for like a long time.
At least a couple of years. It also distills something important about human dominance behavior and translates it into a distinctly American context, said Christopher R. von Ruden of the University of Richmond's Jepson School of Leadership Studies. Compared with some other non-human primates, humans are such cooperators, said von Ruden, an evolutionary anthropologist who was not involved in the study. In less interdependent species, testosterone is clearly linked to the kind of aggressive behavior that can ensure a male mating rights. But as humans evolved to depend on one another for safety and prosperity, a male's appeal as a mate actually rested on his ability to be of value to others. But the gel takes you back to
the
bare
square
bones
one
shit.
Base level shit.
I ain't fucking helping you. Hey man, can you help me push this in the back of my truck? What the fuck you think I am?
I'll fuck your wife. That's what I'll do.
Wife up. I won't help you shit. Gotta hide your wife. Hey. Sorry, I'm supposed to wait 2 hours before I go
outside.
Of course I'll help you put that in the back of the truck. I don't know what just happened. It's not me. Look at this fucking watch though. See me on a yacht. In its most evolved form, for instance, rich robber barons would shore up their leadership status through acts of philanthropy. Does your town have a Carnegie Library? Indeed, research has shown patterns of enhanced generosity in men whose testosterone got an upward nudge. By focusing on conspicuous consumption as an avenue to status, the new research shows that value to others means in a society where scarcity itself has become scarce. These goods put others on notice that you're wealthy and you must have some skills or some valuable something that's allowed you to harness and amass wealth. It's an advertisement that you're of value as a mate, as a friend, or as a leader. So should we be gelling up? You got to monitor that. It takes a little while. You know?
So they're saying that it's not just that it's the connotation is that those symbols are signifiers to others that you're of value, not that this is of value and I've attained it, and so that it's not.
I'm not sure.
It's what the perceived response or reaction to that is going to be that they're striving for. That I don't know.
But it's just like, put the gel on, man.
Just put the gel on.
Valet this. Oh, usually you park really far away and find I valet. Okay. High status, I guess. Man. Go into that restaurant. I don't need to see the menu. Just, what's your cut? What chop costs the most? I want that chop. Right, lady? She wants the chop, too. I order for her. This date is going. I agreed to go with him. He was supposed to be chill. He ordered me a chop.
He was all pumped.
He was wicked pumped.
Up.
And I could see, like, his neck was glistening. It looked like there was, like a gel all on his, like, stain on the back of his shirt.
I don't,
He made a big deal about valeting. I always valet. Okay. She'll have the chop like me.
I think, I don't know. Again, like they're saying, American people versus other cultures, it would vary. I think also there's definitely people within the country of the United States themselves that I think probably would shy away from stuff like this, regardless of whether or not they were feeling like fucking pumped and horned up from that they still would know in their intellectual mind, like, that's not cool. Like, don't do that.
Yeah.
But then maybe other people like not knowing that that's not the way
to be a psychopath. What's your most expensive Scotch whiskey?
Yeah, or that. But it's that it's showing off, right?
Yeah.
At its core, it's showing off.
Peacocking.
But it's not that the desire for.
No, I don't care about it.
I don't care about.
I didn't want this chop. It was just. It was so expensive.
I had to
have it for me and her.
Everyone was watching.
Everyone was watching me. I had to order the chop for her. Had to let all the other women know with their cuck dates who the real boss was. I valeted.
The chop.
Look at these boot cuts I'm wearing. Y'all see them?
Look at these flares.
Look at these flare boot cuts from the Kobe Teeth line.
Kobe Keith fucking flares.
Look at them. Better recognize. Fuck, man. September of 2018.
But this is happening to people not on gel. This is happening in people's bodies like naturally.
Oh yeah, we don't.
There's like people who have like
higher levels or
like
levels.
overactive.
I guess some
levels
people on the gel natch. God, that guy is fucking so aggro. He's natch gel. He doesn't even know his shit is like skyrocketing. And how the fucking 18 to 55? That's a huge. An 18-year-old kid and a 55-year-old dude. That's a huge variation of age and numbers of.
Yeah.
But I guess every dude has a different level. You could be a 55-year-old a higher level than an 18-year-old, maybe.
But also that there's.
If they're saying it goes to 55 before it dips, or.
Well, not before it's like across the board. Like, oh, you definitely are. Like, there's definitely less of it being made.
Your head down.
But I mean, there's also like, I don't think when you're 18, you can still like be fucking crazy in 18 and you don't need as much testosterone in order to like keep up,
jump off
like you just are fucking 18 and
jump off
just
the bridge.
Like, yeah, I just like I don't think you have to have it back then.
Let's
it's
see
like
if the car can go 130. Hey.
So
and then at a certain point it's over, like you have no testosterone, you just sort of just like
it just starts to taper off severely.
And then you just kind of just like
get gel.
You get the gel, and then you're back. My dad's back, I guess. Used to be kind of a cool, chill dad. Now he's like fucking crazy. Soccer practice with a new gel dad. Stupid ref! Hey, that kid's a fucking high school kid. Chill, dad.
He's like volunteering.
He's a volunteer high school soccer coach, ref, dad guy. Yeah, run the score up. Dad. Dad's on the gel, I guess.
Fuck your wife. I'll fuck your wife.
Fuck. Dad. After the divorce, though.
Pumped.
He pumped. I'm back.
Showing up in a Viper.
Dad, man.
Dad's back.
Dad's back. It's a 72 Corvette. He says that's the year he was born. He always wanted it. It's got a T-top. My dad is crazy, man. He's on the gel.
So greasy.
Don't touch the gel if you're a lady. Ooh. September 2018. Crowd panics, market bubbles, and other unpredictable collective behaviors would not happen if people were smart about these things and just thought through their behavior before they acted. Right? Well, that's the perspective in economics, and even psychology, and even in sociology. But a UC Davis researcher looked at how people behave in simple reasoning games and found that people are usually driven to flock or behave similarly to others in a given situation. Seth Frey, an assistant professor of communications at UC Davis, said that this happens, quote, even when people use the fancy reasoning processes that are supposed to make humans so special. He's the lead author of an article, Cognitive Mechanisms for Human Flocking Dynamics. The paper appeared in the Journal of Computational Social Science. The basic idea is that we have this preconception about fads and panics and flocks and herds, and they are driven by our basest animal spirits, and that adding thoughtfulness or education or intelligence would make all of these things go away. This paper shows that people who are being thoughtful, specifically people who are doing dizzying, what you think, I think, you think, I think, what you think, I think, you think, I think reasoning. What the fuck does that mean? One more time. Specifically people who are doing what you think, I think, you think, I think, what you think, I think, I can't, it's too much. What does he mean? What does that mean?
It means that, well,
they still get caught up in little flocks in a way that the game that they end up playing is driven less by what seems rational and more by what they think the others think they're going to do.
right.
Oh, so you're trying to do things based on what you think other people think you're going to do? Oh,
What other people think you think they're... No. You're already anticipating that they're thinking about you and what you're going to do.
Oh, but people are always
And so
thinking about
you
me. 4D chess. So what I do is
knowing that
how they think.
I think right, and then I do the
One
opposite
step
of what it is they think I think
because
I'm
they
gonna
thought
do.
I thought I was going to do this. I think. Watch it. 4D chess. Each game used in the study is based on a very different way of thinking and should have evoked different varieties of reasoning by the players, but they did not. The same sophisticated flocking behavior bore out in all three games. Researchers looked at the behavior of hundreds of players who came from student and online pools, repeated for many rounds of the games over time. They analyzed behavior over high and low payoffs over multiple populations and with very experienced players with the well-known beauty contest game, and two they devised from the research mod game and runaway game. God, I hope I have these fucking games here. Rules and methods of winning each game varied. In beauty contest, players receive a reward for guessing the number 0 to 100, whose number is closest to 2/3 the value of the average of all numbers submitted by all players. Did that make sense?
Again?
In beauty contest, love that game. Players receive a reward for guessing the number 0 to 100, whose number is closest to 2/3 the value of the average of all numbers submitted by all players.
Jesus Christ.
In the mod game, players choose an integer between 1 and 24. Players earn points by choosing a number precisely one above another's number, except that one beats 24, such as in rock, paper, scissors, and that every number can get beaten by another.
I don't know these
man,
games.
Your games are weird games. Oh, you know.
Beauty contest.
Beauty School Dropout. You remember that game? Fucking show. You know the mod game. The mod squad? No, the mod game. Yeah, you got an integer. Well, first stop. What the fuck is that?
That's a number.
Okay. Shit. All right. The runway game. Players practice the same one-upmanship of the mod game, but they can choose literally any number. -1, a million, pi, anything. These subtle differences lead to big differences in theory, but they don't seem to matter to players who get caught up in their mates flocking no matter what. I'm hoping that someone's just like driving and they're like totally like, oh yeah, you guys are dumb. I totally get this. I love the runway game. Not the runaway game, the runway game. Frey explained that flocking in life can be good or bad. It can be good for schools of fish, flocking birds, or team cyclists in a race where in each case group members gain a greater ability to obtain food, to be safe, or to win, but flocking can be undesirable in a stock market fail or a riot, for instance, where safety, survival, or winning can be jeopardized. These games show that sophisticated human reasoning processes may be just as likely to drive the complex, often pathological social dynamics that we usually attribute to reactive, emotional, non-deliberating reasoning. In other words, human intelligence may as likely increase as decrease the complexity and unpredictability of social and economic outcomes. This one is too much. 3 games that don't make a lick of sense, and everybody played them. And so what's the deal? You're just trying to think. All you're doing is like thinking like, what's this person thinking? How about worry about your fucking self for a second?
But I think the point that they're making is that given that premise of these games, that the tendency is that the hive mind sort of like everyone kind of doesn't, nobody really winds up when the parameters are so far in any direction, you can pick whatever you want, that everyone still is like 8 and the other one's like 6.
Yeah, but like you add up to 1 million. 8.
That it doesn't
6? What the fuck? I say you go up to 1 million. 8. All right.
You know that we have a tendency as a species to want to we
love games. I know that.
First and foremost.
What are your 3 favorite games?
Runway.
Probably Runway, Beauty Contest, and Mod Game. I mean, those are probably my 3 favorite. You know, when we have game night, usually those are the 3 games we play. Did you say Pictionary categories?
No. Pick an integer.
Cards of Humanity? No.
Pick an integer.
Pick an integer. Anywhere from -1 to pi. Do you have Tostitos? Are there any Tostitos here? Crazy game. People think
I'm not smart enough remotely
to got it.
Wrap my head around that, but I do understand that they're sort of saying that you wind up in that never-ending attempt to maybe think outside the box, that everybody ultimately winds up coming full circle, and you're kind of like, well, you could have just picked one or the other and it would have been the same. And,
the same thing.
And that also, the idea that, the housing market's going through the roof. So everyone's like, well, we got to buy a house before it's too expensive. But then everyone's like, no, don't do that because then the market will crash. So I'm going to wait. I'm not going to buy a house. And then people are like, well, no, but everybody's going to wait until it crashes. So actually it's going to keep going up. So buy a house. And it just is like, well, now it's just like everybody's just buying a house.
What are you supposed to do?
Exactly. I mean, I think that ultimately both wind up being true. Everyone winds up buying a house. Everyone else winds up buying a house. So all the people that bought houses wind up making money. But then all of a sudden, everyone's bought a house. So the market crashes. So everyone winds up being wrong and right.
Everyone loses at every game, no matter what.
I think the house ultimately always wins.
So
I don't know who the house is in this experiment.
Any game you play, you lose.
And at the end, you lose.
At the end, you lose.
Because you die.
And you die.
So
and it's very unoriginal.
Yeah. You die and you wind up having something that other people also have.
Everybody had it. Oh, COPD? Yeah, everybody's got it. Shit. Well.
So.
What makes people take risks? This is from November of 2018. Not stunt women or Formula One drivers, just ordinary people like Jonathan and Seth. Research published in PLOS One,
patreon.com/UhhYeahDude
suggests that unexpected improvements in everyday life, sunshine after many days of rain, a win by the local sports team, are correlated with a change in a city's mood and increased likelihood that its citizens will do risky things like gamble.
We've talked about something like this before.
All right. Cities seem to have moods that fluctuate from day to day. Now, thanks to social media, these city moods are also measurable. The McGill-led research team used automated techniques to gauge the sentiment of over 5 million Twitter posts from 2012 and 2013, geotagged to 6 different large U.S. cities: New York City, Boston, Chicago, Dallas-Fort Worth, the San Francisco Bay Area, and Los Angeles. This, in turn, allowed them to deduce the mood of the city on any given day. Wow.
City Moods is also the name of a
That's another
experimental jazz record that I've been working on
was
for a while. It's
amazing.
just sort of just, kind of just.
I love that.
It's
That
like
that cut.
all my travels.
Yes, Astral Vortex, I believe, is track 1. Thank you. We have found that Twitter users serve as the canaries of their communities, says Johannes Eichenstadt, a computational social scientist at the University of Pennsylvania and co-author of the paper. What they see on Twitter is representative of the mood shared on the streets and in the local communities. So using AI, we were able to extract information about the mood of the community.
What was the term used? Canary?
Yeah, the canaries of their communities.
Oh, like because of
Canary in a
miners.
coal mine.
Canary in a
Yeah,
coal
but
mine.
like,
Do people know what that means?
I think so.
Just people still know what that reference is.
Yeah. Maybe I don't. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Maybe not. Well, yeah. Maybe that's a long. Yeah.
It's a very long time ago, and a very strange, brutal, crazy way to.
Yeah.
I mean, you could explain it probably better.
In a coal mine, you'd send a canary down, and then it would. I don't know if it comes back.
No,
Or is it
they would take
sense the-
canaries with them down into the coal mine, and if there was a gas leak, a canary would die prior to
Okay,
a
so
human. So
they
they would keep an eye on the canaries because if the canary died, you
I
knew.
just took a
there's-
6-year-old. 6 years old in a coal mine. 6-year-old boys in a coal mine. Yeah, we just take random kids in like West Virginia, find them on the street.
So if the canary died, you knew it was time to get out.
There's a gas leak.
Yeah.
Okay. I didn't know if they sent the canary down.
I'm sure they did that too.
and
Probably
it doesn't come back, they know, or if the canary comes back, like, it's all good, dogs. Enjoy your $4 for today's work. Now get down there, black lung, you'll all die. Bring back the coal mines. What? What? Anyway, where?
So Twitter is the canary of the
But
community.
I guess, yeah, but it doesn't take AI to let me know that, like,
if the
a
Dodgers
team
win,
wins, so
everyone in
if the
East
next
LA
day-
is going to be drunk.
I have AI tells me there could be a fireworks could go off and there could be a parade 3 days later. And like, fuck yeah, in Seattle, if it fucking rains 71 days in a row and everyone is just like listening to Alice in Chains and like dead in their apartments, and then one magical day is a burst of sun, people go to what they call beaches there. Not a beach, everybody. But anyway, it's fine. Like in Chicago, we go to the beach. What?
You mean that thing with
You
all the
mean that
busted
weird
up
thing?
asphalt?
All the glass and rocks where you play volleyball? It's called Baywatch. I mean, I'm in a beach in 23 years. I know that ain't a beach. And we go to the beach.
It's like a broken highway.
Yeah,
That's been like
they just like threw
bulldozed.
sand down. Anyway, back to. I love to see. Yeah, so in Seattle, if the sun came out, people would probably be on Twitter like, "Holy shit, Mother Nature done it." They wouldn't be like, "Boo, bitch." Mother Nature's a bitch with the sun.
Bring back the rain.
Bring back the rain and the dead heroin addicts and the grunge. The research unpacked the language expressed in social media data to see how the mood of the tweets and hence of the cities could be understood on a day-to-day basis. Then they set out to explore whether by looking at unexpected positive outcomes, such as an unexpected sports win or a sunny day after the rain, they could predict when a city would be in a good mood. Their next step was to look into how these positive city moods were linked to increased risk-taking. Okay, back to that. So it's fine to know that, like, people in Seattle are out at, like, the park and, like, walking Capitol Hill, but, like, when do they start getting risky? It all depends on whether how lucky is Chicago feeling today? It all depends on whether the White Sox won last night or the sun is shining after days of gray skies. These psychological experiments in the lab have already shown that people tend to feel better and take more risks when something goes better than they had expected. The researchers wanted to find out whether the same held true at the city level. They looked at whether increased purchases of daily lottery tickets in Chicago and New York, where there was no particular incentive to buy one day compared to buying one on another day, since the odds and the payoffs remained constant. They wanted to see if this was linked with a positive city mood day as reflected on Twitter. And they found that this was indeed the case, though the authors note that this effect is subtle. For example, a good mood, quote, day in Chicago and New York City predicts an increase in spending on gambling of close to 2.5% per person per day in particularly high reactive neighborhoods. Ross Otto, one of the lead authors on the paper, by using social media data, we were able to examine the impact of collective events upon subjective well-being at the scale of these large cities. This information about how fleeting city moods are tied with risk-taking behavior could potentially help those who want to discourage others from gambling decide when their responsible gambling promotion efforts will most be needed. So this was all about fucking degenerate gamblers? She's saying it rains every day for 60 days in Portland and the sun comes out. Fucking people buy more scratchers and I'm supposed to fucking like, whoa, hey guys, I know you're buying these scratchers, but it could be because of that big old ball up there. That big old ball of fire's got us all fired up. And it's lit. right, as the kids say. But really, put that $2 back in your pocket, you crazy risk takers.
None of this.
How is buying a lottery ticket... That is now classified as risk-taking?
I mean, I guess gambling is considered risk-taking, and that's gambling in its tiniest,
that's a
most
broad,
accessible form, I guess.
Yeah.
But
but
none of this surprises me.
The people would be in good moods after dope shit, or that people buy more scratchers.
And that good mood, you're more easily coerced into.
What's the lottery tonight?
Well, because
I never ask.
For a couple of reasons. One, because I think when you're feeling that way, and especially if you're maybe feeling in sync with your city, that like it's not just me in a good mood. Everywhere I go. Right.
People
so all of a sudden there's this synchronicity that's felt.
In line for a lottery ticket. I don't know.
Maybe you don't know that it's because everyone. Maybe you do know if you're a fucking Dodgers fan that everybody's happy because the Dodgers won or whatever.
Well, you need.
But maybe you.
Why do they think that you would need? If you would listen, if you were a person, which is every person listening to the show, you would not have to go on Twitter in whatever city you live in to gauge that. Like, if there was a traumatic shooting in your city. You wouldn't have to go on. Why is everybody so somber after that church shooting? Everyone's in such a poopy mood. Why? The sun's out. Yeah, but because there was a. And the same would be.
But you could factor in, let's say, a sunny day when the Dodgers lose. I mean, there's probably some calculations to be made that might be interesting.
It would only be
if you get into the
1.8%
machinations of it. If you get into the deeper math of it, there's probably cool calculations that one could do. That all being said. I think it seems pretty obvious to me, like you're saying, it's nice out. Like people are in a better mood, or
it rains every day. It's nice out,
or whatever. That it's nothing shitty has happened on the fucking news or whatever. Yeah. But then I think it's two things. If you feel somehow in sync with your surroundings, the belief in a gambler's mind maybe is that you've got an inside track on some type of pathway in the universe that's working in your favor, not against you.
Oh, you're okay.
So, I'm feeling it right now. I'm on a run.
Got some good vitamin D.
I should play the lottery.
Gotta play the lottery.
So it's either that or I'm in a good mood.
Great mood.
So I'm going to take a risk because taking a loss won't hurt me because it's just a buck.
It's just a buck.
Whereas if you're in a bad mood,
you lose that. You check the numbers, you don't get one, and you like knock everything off your table.
So it's two things. It's those two things. It's I'm in sync with the universe, so let me try my luck.
Hey, if I don't get a mega,
or hey, I'm in a good mood. Why not? I'll fucking do a scratcher just because for shits and giggles. Who knows? It could happen.
Hey, listen, the Dodgers won. Throw a super lotto on there.
And I think that is
research,
human behavior. It's our stupidity of how we think the universe works. I think.
Okay.
It's that, well, and also it's true. I mean, if I'm in a good mood and somebody tells me bad news, I feel like, oh, that sucks. If I'm in a bad mood and somebody tells me bad news, I'm like, I'm going to kill myself. You know what I mean?
Okay.
I mean, but I mean, if you're playing it like that at levels.
I guess the lottery ticket is an odd.
It's not that odd because I think it's a very easy. It's a very easy. Anyone can kind of cough up a buck, and we see that because the people that are doing it the most are the people that should be doing it the least. But that it's such a attainable chance at something great happening.
Okay,
it's such a cheap way. It's such a cheap carrot to dangle and be like, but this could happen. And at worst, you've only lost $1, although
you're in
you
a
actually
good
lose
mood.
1,000 of them.
Yeah.
But the idea that it's like you could do, it doesn't feel like a real risk. And that's what is so seductive about it, I think, is that you're just like, it's just $1.
I would think it would be the opposite, that if it just kept raining and something happened, you would be like, then you'd buy the lottery ticket. You want to change it. You want to flip it. Can we get a ticket?
That's even a crazier way to look at the universe, that by doing something like that, you could affect you could make it sunny by buying a lottery ticket.
Lottery ticket. Maybe the sun will come out and the White Sox will win.
I mean, either way, I think it's looking at the world from a standpoint that you are at its center.
Oh, that's all. Well, it's every
And
study.
so that's
everything.
I think is what kind of we start to maybe.
We just did a study where people just only think about how other people are thinking about them or what they're thinking about. I wonder what they're thinking. I'm going to think of then I can beat them. I'm ahead of them because I'm.
I
in
wonder
their
what
brain.
they think I'm
and I
thinking.
know that I think what I think that they think. Oh, I'm wrong again. I didn't win. I didn't get another number. Oh, okay, because I keep not getting the number.
But I also keep picking the same.
But the sun's out
number.
every day here, so what's that study? Because the sun's out every fucking day here,
Well-
and I still ain't won the fucking lottery, and I still don't know what anybody's thinking.
I'm still in a bad mood.
I'm still in a shitty ass mood.
No, but I mean, I think here you see that people that are just like on permanent, like
Permanent, like,
it's
sun's
like amazing.
Out, sun's out, guns out, guns out. Give me 10 tickets. Oh, fuck. Next time. Dodgers win? Oh, shit. Fireworks? Oh, yeah, dude. America through the eyes of two American Americans. This was episode 727.
Yes, it was.
We talked about, took 4, I guess they were studies,
I love these.
and we just talked about them.
It's my favorite stuff.
I hope you enjoyed
It really
hope
is.
you
I mean,
enjoyed
hopefully
it.
people listening enjoy it as much, because
And
I
understand.
love hearing it, and also not reading it. It allows me to maybe sit with it a little bit more and think about it,
Yeah.
because it's
Just trying to figure it out here.
it's fascinating stuff. It's also fascinating that this shit is what scientists do, because it seems pretty stupid and arbitrary, some of it. It seems like all you have to do is like stand in the world for about 37 minutes and you'll probably get a pretty good idea of like what's shaking out here. But like,
Why are there 500,000 people downtown? The Lakers won the champ. You didn't hear about that? The basketball team of the city you were in, they won the championship. Yeah, there's all of a sudden there's like 500,000 people downtown. The ticker tape parade. What happened? I haven't been on Twitter in 3 days. I'm a scientist. What? No, you gotta do all these
come
things
back
very
for
important.
728.
728.
But also, if you are in the Michigan, Detroit metropolitan area on June 22nd,
Magic Bag.
that is Saturday at the Magic Bag, currently getting a brand new marquee installed as we speak.
Good, I demanded that.
2 days.
That was a-
We said we would not play there
Unless
unless
it's
our
brand
name
new.
was in brand new lights.
Brand new bold lights.
So Magic Bag in Ferndale, Michigan on June 22nd. That's Saturday. Our first show of the summer.
One-Eyed Jacks, New Orleans, Saturday night, July 6th, the French Quarter.
It's going to be hot. It's going to be balmy.
Better be.
And Brooklyn's probably going to be balmy too.
I hope so. I want all the heat. I want to feel it. Murmur Ballroom, Saturday night, July 27th, in Brooklyn, and Texas Theater in Dallas, Saturday night, September 7th. Get tickets to those shows. Come back for 728.
Go to Patreon.
Thank you so much.
Pledge to us. Thank you to everyone who does. It allows us to keep the show ad-free and commercial-free. And thank you to everybody who pledges there. And then also the website, UhhYeahDude.com. You can get show notes, links to all the shows, ticket links to all the shows, merch store. Also, 888-842-2357 is Seth's
Share your
toll-free
thoughts.
voicemail. You can find me at Instagram, and
Find them in the club. Get the top shelf.
That I only do the top shelf.
loves top
If you see me in the club and I'm not scaling all the way up to the very top of the
Hey,
shelf,
sir, you can't. I can't what?
then somebody wipe me down with some gel because I'm fading. Come back for 728.
Thank you so much. Seatbelt.
Seatbelts.